You're watching the 8th module of the Writing for New Media online course. I'm NEWMEDIA. For today's lecture, we're going to look at the two types of content, which are web and mobile. Now, if you remember in the 7th module, we've discussed the different strategies when it comes to writing and editing digital media. But for this module, we're going to look closer at really writing for a mobile content. So, how do you make your content mobile friendly? We're going to discuss that later. We're also going to look at how you can use user-generated content to your advantage. And last, we're going to look at memes and how it has become part of internet culture. So let's start. When you browse websites, we have this so-called user experience that we want netizens to encounter. And part of that experience is what you call web content, because basically web content are everything that you encounter in websites, the textual, the visual, and the audio content. So these includes everything from the text, the images, the sounds, the videos, and even the animations. So those are your web content. For you to be able to generate traffic to your websites, one of the key factors that you need to consider is really making your web content. And these are basically your creative elements. For example, your text, your applications, your images, even the archived email messages, data, electronic services, audio, video files, and so on. So when you create engaging content, meaning it's not just doing web content for the sake of having content on your website, but really making them more engaging to your audiences as possible, and you're even organizing it for easy navigation, that is how you make your website a success. And also, it's important not just to make engaging and organized web content, but also optimizing it for search engines. Just like what we've discussed earlier in previous modules about the importance of search engine optimizations. Now, what are the two basic kinds of web content? You have two. So the first is text. Everything that you see on the web page as text blocks or in between images are your text. You can say that the best written content is unique textual web content that is free from, of course, plagiarism, because no one wants to have their content copied from somewhere else. Having unique content differentiates you from other websites who would want to check a website that has content that they've already seen from somewhere else, right? Another important aspect of those texts are having links, which will also help readers to gain access to other information that are related to your topic. The second type of web content you need to understand, of course, is called multimedia. And simply put, these are your content that is not text, such as animations, images, video, and audio. So those are your types of web content, text and multimedia. When we're discussing writing for new media, you're not only focusing on writing for text, but also writing for multimedia as well. Going further to mobile, when you say mobile content, it's any type of electronic media that can be viewed or used on mobile phones, like ringtones, graphics, discount offers, games, movies, GPS navigation. So those are your examples of mobile content. But also, when you say mobile content, it can be even your web content as long as it's accessible on the mobile phones or gadgets like tablets and smartwatches. There are many different types of mobile content. So you have your, of course, mobile apps, which can be accessed through Apple Store or Google Play Store. These are your computer programs or softwares that are designed to run only on your mobile phones or mobile devices. What are your most common mobile apps? Most likely you have an app for taking photos, for editing photos, for taking videos, for sending messages, or even social media, of course. So most likely you will have Facebook, you will have Instagram, and nowadays probably TikTok. You also have Twitter, etc. Now you also have mobile games, of course, for the gamers out there. These are applications that allow you to play a game on your mobile handset. Another type of mobile content are the images. So these are used as probably wallpapers for your mobile phone, and you can even use it as screensavers, or it can even refer to any images that you have taken using your mobile gadgets. Mobile music are any audio file that can be played on your mobile phone. So usual formats would probably be uh, WAV form or MP3 or AAF on iPhones. So those are just some examples. Now you also have mobile video. So these are videos that are in mobile formats like 3GPP, MP4, RTSP, and even I think this is already obsolete, flashlight or flash. So anything that you either created and exported as a mobile format, or it's either a video that you took using your mobile gadgets. Next are Mobi shows or mobile shows, and or also known as cell-sodes or cellular episodes. These are broadcast quality programs or series that were produced, that were directed and edited and encoded for viewing on mobile phones. And similarly related to Mobi shows are streaming. So these are radio, mobile video, and live video that can be streamed and shared on your phone. Now, this can also be interchanged or related also to mobile apps and Mobi shows because, for the instance of Netflix, Netflix is a mobile app on a phone, but it also allows for streaming mobile video content. Like I've said earlier, I want to focus this module on making your content mobile friendly. Making and writing basically. So when you say mobile friendly, it doesn't only mean that the website you're making or the content you're producing can be viewed on different mobile devices. It doesn't mean you just have to have your website pass the standards of Google, but rather a true responsive site is one that the content is optimized for mobile devices, wherein your text, your images, your videos, the slideshows, so these are the content that needs to be really responsive to the needs of your viewers, because these are really the things that the users or the netizens really care about. So if your site fits beautifully on a mobile device, but your content looks as if someone blew its proportions and it doesn't really fit the website from a mobile device viewing, then it will never be mobile friendly. Just how important is making your content mobile friendly? I want you to understand it from a data perspective. So take a look at these statistics from the We Are Social website. So in total, we have about 7 billion people in the world. And this is as of January, January 2020. And there are now about 4.5 billion internet users. But more than the internet users, there are already 5.1 unique mobile phone users. So just imagine, mas marami yung gumagamit talaga ng phones. And marami din talaga ang nag-access ng internet from their mobile phones rather than desktop computers or laptops. So even social media, there are now about 3.8 billion active social media users. Now, if we zoom in further to the country that we're living in the Philippines, there are about 108 million people here, and about 73 million have access to the internet, and about 173 million mobile phone connections are present. 'Di ba? Mas marami pa yung mobile phone connections kesa sa population ng Pilipinas. Well, that's probably because merong mga Pilipino na dala-dalawa yung telepono or tatlo, just like me, I have two. And of that 73 million internet users, take a look at this. There are also 73 million active social media users. So mapapansin mo kaya din talagang nabansagan minsan ng Pilipinas na social media capital of the world. So if you take this statistic as 1:1, ibig sabihin every internet user is an active social media user in the Philippines as well. Given these statistics, the point here is that because majority of all digital content are consumed on mobile devices, this is why you need to also care about making your content mobile friendly. I think naituro na ito sa inyo sa iba niyong subjects, especially the importance of having an F-shaped reading pattern when it comes to designing websites for desktop. Pero sa mobile, if you take a look at that image I'm showing you now, it shows na distributed yung intensity ng viewership ng user sa mobile phone. Hindi siya F-shaped eh. It's distributed somehow differently. So, the way people read on a mobile device is basically different from the way people read when they're using a desktop computer. So, essentially, wala siyang kagaya sa F-shaped reading pattern na ang most important content mo dapat nasa uppermost left. Sa mobile, hindi daw ganun. So, ibig sabihin, ang point nito is to really make all content that is seen on the entire mobile screen optimized, not just the F shape. So, let's go further on what steps you can take to really make your content mobile friendly. Ang sinasabi nila when it comes to writing for mobile, you need to adapt the technique called bite, snack, meal writing technique. So, what kind of technique is this? It's actually similar sa kung ano na yung naituro ko sa inyo sa Module 7. If you look at the first one, the bite, it basically refers to headline. So, kailangan sa headline pa lang may kagat na, makukuha mo na agad yung attention ng viewers mo. So, basically, the bite in your content is your headline, and your job is to capture the interest of your most impatient readers and attract them to read your entire content. So, a clear headline tells you exactly what to expect in the post. So, hindi ko na siguro masyadong patatagalin to because I've already discussed tips on how to write good headlines in Module 7. Next is what you call snack. It basically is, ano lang yan, diba pag snack, parang quick meal lang siya. It's your summary. So, it's basically a gist. It tells your reader what the post is all about. Aside from, of course, it's a function of the headline, but your snack or your summary gives a little more detail into it. So, even if the reader doesn't get to read the entire content and they just read the summary, they still get to have an idea of what the post is really all about. So, sabi pa nung nag-coin nitong writing technique na to, si Leslie O'Flahavan, yung snack mo, usually dapat yan na yung first paragraph mo. Either it's an anecdote or something that gives a hook, a provocative hook, para your readers will really get to read the entire content. So, that's your snack or your summary. And last, your meal. So, kumbaga, after mo nang makuha yung mga appetizers mo, you got a bite, you got a little bit of a snack, then you give them the full course meal. And that is your entire post. So, it's your content in its original and full form. So, kumbaga, ang role lang nung headline and yung summary, or the bite and the snack, is really to draw your reader into your full content. So, this is what the writing technique of bite, snack, meal does. And it's a little similar sa journalism, yung tinatawag na inverted pyramid style of writing kung saan yung most important yung nasa pinakataas, followed by the details that support the important ones, and then last is the least important details or the background of the story. Now, aside from employing a bite snack meal writing technique, you can also look at really making your content chunky, or write it into chunks for easier reading. So when you create content for a mobile user, your basic consideration is not just writing good content, but also considering the structure of your content, kung paano mo siya ipepresent on a mobile device. The best way to do that is using the technique called chunking. So it improves your post structure and makes it more mobile friendly. So how do you do the chunking technique? Ang gagawin mo lang talaga is really dividing your entire content into smaller, easier to digest chunks. Take a look at this example from a desktop perspective. Kung nakikita ninyo yung mga paragraph, the text is small, the paragraphs are very long, the sentences are long, kaya imagine, itong screenshot ko na to is from a desktop view pa lang. Imagine if you view this on a mobile phone, tapos ganyan pa rin yung itsura niya. It's really taxing to the eye, di ba? So this is a wrong way of doing content for mobile. Now, this is a better one in terms of really chunking content. So, meron kang headline, meron kang image right after the headline, para hindi agad siya mapagod sa puro text. And then you start off with your, probably this is the snack or the summary, and then another image, and then further the other texts or the full summary or the full content. There are tools that you can use to chunk content for mobile devices. These are using short paragraphs, using white space, subheads, summary, images, doing lists or bulleted lists, and styling the texts into bold or italics. So, all these tools you can use para hindi pare-pareho na lang yung nakikita sa buong content, sa buong post mo. Now, we've discussed some of these tools already in Module 7, so I'll just take a little more recap on some of them, including others that I haven't discussed yet in the previous modules. So, first is really to write short titles to make them more mobile friendly. So, sabi daw sa co-schedule, headlines should be about 6 words to get the highest clicks. Sa iba pa nga, mas maiksi pa raw, sa mga 5 words or less. The reason for this is when you have that short of a headline, mas kita siya when it's enlarged on a smartphone. And especially kasi when websites are converted into mobile view, mas lumalaki yung mga text. And kapag malaki yung text, that means your headlines will be the bigger ones in the content. And if it has shorter words, then it will be more appealing to the eye when you see it on a mobile phone. For you to be able to test how mobile friendly your headline is, you can use a tool called co-schedule. You can go to their website. I'm not sure if it has an app as well, but you can use their headline analyzer to see if your headline is fit for mobile phones. So this is an example of a result. Ang ginamit na title dito is how to make your content mobile friendly. So that's around 6 words. So that 6 words is just the right length, sabi dito sa co-schedule headline analyzer, and it counted the entire headline as having 37 characters. So when you have shorter titles, hindi siya napuputol kapag tinignan mo na siya sa mobile device. And that's the danger actually of some websites, especially those that were not converted for mobile view. Mapuputol yung titles. Next tip, of course, is really going for shorter, and more snappier paragraphs. So unlike the old days na when you write for books, when you write for papers, people just really love doing long sentences, long paragraphs, and more highfalutin words. But in mobile, it's easier to follow short paragraphs because they tend to focus on just one point. So, yun yung key dyan eh. One sentence or one paragraph, one point or one argument or one idea. You just have to be careful when being too conscious about making your paragraph short kasi minsan hindi naman kailangang sobrang iksi na lahat to the point na nawala na yung essence nung argument mo or nung gusto mong sabihin dun sa content mo. Kapag nagiging boring na siya sa sobrang lahat maiksi na, hindi na yung maganda. Kaya nga dun sa previous module, I told you the importance of mixing different lengths. Yung short, long, medium length sentences. Para nga siyang musical composition. Here's an advice from an author named Marcia Reefer Johnston kung paano ka nga ba dapat magsulat in a minimal style for mobile devices without losing meaning. Kung papansinin niyo tong sinulat niyang to, even her sentences are short, snappy, and yung iba mahahaba but still interesting basahin. So, hindi ko na yan babasahin. You can just read it in your PDF files, but kung makikita mo, kahit tignan mo lang ito visually, ang ganda din niya tignan. Hindi siya puro mahahaba, hindi siya puro maiksi, just the right amount of long and short sentences. Next is to use small words. So, it's all about economy nga eh, kung sabi nila. If you want to get your content read on a mobile device. So, the fewer and the simpler words you use, the better the reading experience will be. Let me show to you some examples ng mga words na pwede mo pang paiksiin. Bawa, obtain or acquire, pwede mo namang sabihin get. Diba? So, ang key here is really to make your sentences more conversational. Kasi pansinin nyo yung mga words na may iksi dito sa pinapakita ko sa inyong mga table. Mas simple, mas yan yung ginagamit ng karamihan on a normal conversational basis rather than the longer words that I'm showing to you on the left columns of the tables. So, yun lang naman ang susi eh. Make your writing more conversational. You can check more words from the link that I'm showing to you as well. This is from the plainlanguage.gov. It's an official website from the US government. One more tool that you can use for you to be able to analyze naman kung gaano nga ba kataba or kapayat yung content mo is through the Hemingway app. So there's also a website, so you can check it as well. What it does is it finds complex words in your content, in your text, and it suggests alternatives. So, kung makikita nyo dyan, may mga color coding pa. So, yung kapag naka-highlight siya ng dilaw, yun yung mga complex sentences. Kapag naman nakapula, yun yung mga sentences na mahirap nang basahin kasi masyado nang mahaba. Kapag color purple, yun yung mga words na merong mas simpleng alternative. Kapag color green naman, these are sentences na naka-passive voice and baka mas better to consider an active voice. And yung mga naka-blue naman is yung mga ginamit mong adverbs. Kapag sobra na or kulang, sinasabi niya rin. So, this is not a 100% perfect application because of course, we all write differently. We all have our own style. So, I'm not going to suggest na sundin nyo lahat ng advice dito sa website na to, but it helps you see using this tool kung sobrang dami mo na bang mahahabang sentences or kung iti-take mo ba yung advice niya na gumamit ng mas simpleng alternative word, etc. Aside from converting long words into smaller ones, one more thing you can do is also change yung mga mahahabang phrases into simpler words. So, minsan kasi these phrases are worse because they are complicated and they take more time to read, especially when looking at a mobile device. It's really frustrating for some mobile readers if they see longer sentences and they have to read that long on a mobile device. So it's really helpful if you change your wordy phrases into simple ones and simple words. Now, these are some examples ng mga common wordy phrases and kung ano yung pwede mong ipalit sa kanya. So, kung nakikita nyo, it's just basically the same spirit as yung mga nauna kong advice to really make your content more conversational, more simpler, and more easy to the eye. So, I also added another link here that you can check for other phrases with suggested alternatives. I've mentioned earlier yung tool or technique of doing chunk contents. So, one way to chunk your content, para hindi lang siya puro text, is for you to use images. So, it's an excellent means to chunk content, and it also enhances reading through on a mobile device. So, especially kung professional yung images, kung relevant siya dun sa topic that's being discussed on your content, it adds more visual appeal and it breaks up your content for easier reading. When you say images, it's not just photographs, but even statistics or visualizations or charts or graphs. So as long as it's not text and it's a visual element, then you can use it for your mobile content. But of course, you have to be careful when it comes to using certain graphics kasi minsan may ibang masyadong complicated na mas malala pa siya sa text na hindi mo na maintindihan kung anong gustong sabihin. Just use simpler graphics na madaling maintindihan kapag sa unang tingin mo sa mobile phones. Kesa dun sa kailangan mo pang i-zoom in para lang makita mo kung ano yung mga maliliit na text na nakasulat. So it's really good if you really study or analyze your usage of certain images. Now, there are several studies that consider how our eyes track content on a mobile device. And sabi nila, you need to offer your most valuable, most important information in your entire post right after an image kasi dun daw mas madaling ma-absorb ng reader kung ano yung gusto mong sabihin. So, kung yung pinaka-point ng post mo ay gusto mong ma-absorb agad ng reader, dun mo siya ilagay right after an image. Now, this one is for doing layouts of your content, especially when you're considering really chunking it. It's using the concept of white space. So, when you use your white space effectively, you can not only chunk your data, but it can also lead your users to the more or the most important points of your content. So in terms of sa text, ang ginagawa nila to add more white space is enter key. So kung yung sinasabi natin kanina na one paragraph, one point, enter. Kapag iba na yung point nung other or subsequent sentences mo. Ibig sabihin, dapat another paragraph na yon. Tapos, kapag tapos na yung point ng mga sentences, may bago na namang point na pinapresent, enter ulit. So, that's basically dividing your text into different paragraphs. And the spaces in between them is your white space. Pero those are for text only. Hindi mo pa kino-consider yung paggamit ng white space sa pagpasok mo ng images, ng mga video, ng mga other multimedia elements dun sa entire post. So when you use basically white space, which is also known as negative space, siya yung space in between the layouts, in between the lines of the paragraphs, even between the different elements that are seen in your post. So kung makikita nyo dito sa example natin sa image na yan, hindi magandang example yung nasa kanan na parang dikit na or nakapatong na yung image or yung other elements sa ibabaw ng text. So, mas maayos yung example natin sa kaliwa na properly spaced lang. Pero, hindi naman ibig sabihin na may white space, dapat white background. It can be any color, texture, pattern, or even a background image as long as it separates or helps in the chunking of your content. Now, last tip to help you make your content mobile friendly. This is a no-brainer na. It's really previewing your content on a mobile device. So before you publish, it's better if you preview it on a mobile device. So usually yung iba namang mga blogging platforms, for example, they allow previews on a mobile device even if you're using a desktop. So doing this preview helps you see kung meron ka para rin bang naiwang mga mahahabang paragraphs, or if you need to re-edit some words and to make some other sentences shorter, or yung other elements like the images resized or ibahin yung layout. So it really is the importance of doing a preview first. Now that we've discussed tips on how you can make your content more mobile friendly, let's go to another aspect of content that you can use at your disposal. And these are what you call user-generated content, or UGC, and they're also known as UCC, or user-created content. So these are terms that refer to sites such as blogs, practices such as citizen journalism, and platforms as YouTube, where users are empowered to become creators and distributors of digital content. When you classify a content as user-generated or user-created, it doesn't necessarily mean na hindi na siya web content or hindi na siya mobile content. It can still be the same. The difference is just it was created by the users themselves and not the main platform creators. Probably yung iba sa inyo nakasanayan na itong ganitong konsepto. Kasi pagkagising nyo or pagkapanganak ninyo, yan na talaga ang naabutan ninyo. Pero just imagine if you were introduced to the old types of media, like let's say the traditional ones like television, radio, newspapers. These are not user-generated. These are one-to-many communication. Ibig sabihin, from the main source, like TV, papunta sa audience, ganun lang yung flow of communication. Pero with the advent of these kinds of content, like user-generated content, kaya nang magbigay din ng sariling communication flow mula sa mga users, pabalik sa main content creators, or even sa mga platform holders. And that's what you call a user-led innovation, basically because users of these products and services are increasingly able to innovate for themselves. Sometimes pa nga, di ba, sa kanila pa nanggagaling yung mga original content or yung mga viral content na tinatawag. Here are some examples of how you can use user-generated content. So for example, if you're producing news or if you're doing research, you can do crowdsourcing, yung tinatawag nilang crowdsourcing of information, or not just information, even content like images, video, audio, etc. So yan ang ginagawa ng mga sa main news organizations dito sa Pilipinas, like ABS-CBN, they have Bayan Mo Ipatrol Mo, or GMA News, they have U-Scoop, where they collate content from users, or what they call Bayan Patrollers or U-Scoopers. They send videos and photos or information na hindi pa nakukuha ng big organizations na ito. This is especially useful if you're from far-flung areas na walang access yung mga big TV networks, and you're helping people to know the situation in your area even if you're far-flung. Users can also generate content for the purpose of entertainment. Kaya nga nagkaroon dati ng dub smash, kaya sumikat si Maine Mendoza. Pero ngayon, ang uso na is yung TikTok, which has a similar concept. In this day and age, hindi na lang mga big advertising agencies ang nagpo-produce ng content for the purpose of advertising. Ginagawa na rin yan ngayon ng mga users themselves. So, minsan pa nga mas effective pa yung user-generated content sa pag-advertise ng isang product or service kasi audiences or people see that these content are more authentic kesa naman dun sa mga post-produced or scripted na mga advertisements mula sa mga agencies. Kaya nga, ito na rin yung ine-employ na strategy minsan ng ibang mga companies They do these campaigns, they do these hashtags, etc. And that's one example na ginawa din ng sarili nating gobyerno for our tourism campaign. The It's More Fun in the Philippines hashtag. And nung pumunta ako sa website nila recently, sabi nga nila dito, they have already seen around 5.2 million images that bear the hashtag It's More Fun in the Philippines. So ganun ka-powerful ang user content or user-generated content. One more benefit that UGC can give is also to promote advocacies. And yan yung ginawa ng one particular example na naalala ko, itong Ice Bucket Challenge back in 2014 and 2015, where people all around the world were asked to magbubuhos sila ng ice bucket of water sa ulo nila while donating for the cause of research for the disease called ALS. These are just some examples. Actually, marami pang ibang applications of user-generated content. Baka nga may iba pang hindi na-discover at this moment. And maybe you can be part of that generation. And even you can use user-generated content as part of your own content. Like if you want to add more authenticity, or if you want to put more interactivity in your content, you can invite people to join your cause or to submit contributions, and you can collate all of these. And some websites have been effective in doing these kinds of campaigns or strategies. Now, the last part of this lecture, I want to tackle the concept of memes and how it is part of the growing culture in the internet. So, paano nga ba nagsimula yung memes? Ito medyo interesting yung history nito kasi actually yung term na meme, back in 1976 pa siya yung idea niya. It was coined by Richard Dawkins, and he initially intended that concept as an ideological counterpart for genes. Just like how a gene spreads through sexual selection and physical fitness, a meme spreads through social selection and ideological fitness. So yung concept ni Dawkins of meme, it came from the Greek word called mimeme. Ang ibig sabihin niya is that which is imitated. So it was abbreviated to meme because of its similarity to the word gene. So yun yung basically history nun. So kaya niya kinoin yung term na yon because he was trying to figure out whether there was a measurable unit that can describe how ideas are spread or propagated through generations. Kung ang genes na mamana from generation to generation, sinasabi ni Dawkins na ang ideas ay naipapasa through memes. Yun yung idea nun. So yung concept na yon ng replication, selection, and evolution ng ideas, dun nagmula yung idea na gamitin din siya sa age of the internet. Kasi nga, sa internet, sobrang dami ng ideas. And yung mga bagay na nare-replicate din sa internet, kaya tinawag na rin silang memes. So kung nung 1976 na-coin na yung term na meme, pero hindi siya actually nag-pull off, hindi na siya nagamit in the later years. Up until dumating yung taong 1990, nung gumamit ang isang technologist na si Mike Godwin ng isang image, itong pinapakita ko sa inyo. Pinost niya yan sa isang discussion forum na tinatawag na Usenet during that time. Siguro sa panahon ngayon, yan na yung Reddit natin today. So that's how he tried to describe yung nangyayaring trend sa mga discussion forum nila. Na parang habang tumatagal daw yung pag-uusap sa isang particular discussion, mas lumalaki yung possibility na merong isang user na magbabanggit ng reference sa mga Nazi. So, this picture is what he described as basically in an article in the few years later, sinabi niya na this is an example of a meme. So, from this internet context use of the term meme, diyan nagsimula na yung iba pang mga images na tinawag na ring mga memes. Ang pinakaunang nag-viral na internet meme na maituturing is itong nakikita nyo ngayong dancing baby meme na to. Na actually nakakatuwa yung history nito kasi noong 1996, merong isang graphic designer na actually gusto lang na naman niyang patunayan na kayang i-program ng computers ang movement. So, ang ginawa niyang model is a baby, tapos pinakitaan niya ng iba't ibang movements using cha-cha. So, sinend niya tong sample demo na to sa mga developers, tapos nakaabot siya sa inbox ng isa sa mga empleyado ng LucasArts, if you know, the company that started the Star Wars saga. So, ginawa niyang GIF itong movement na to, na graphics na to. And then he sent it out and forwarded it and shared it sa mga forums, sa mga email, hanggang sa naging viral na siya. So, yan yung pinakaunang maituturing daw na viral internet meme. A few years later, ang sumunod naman daw na naging trend na nauso is yung tinatawag na lolcats. So, ito yung mga pusa na nilalagyan ng kung ano-anong text. At ginagamit siya sa isang forum na tinatawag na 4chan in 2005. So, meron silang parang celebration or event na tinatawag na Catterday. So, eventually, naging phenomenon siya at ginamit na siya sa even sa mga academic journals, na pag-usapan na rin siya sa Time Magazine. So, ito yung mga examples ng mga unang lolcats ng mga meme. So, I are serious cat, this is serious thread. So, basically, ginagamit siya talaga na pang interrupt sa mga discussion sa forum na yon. Here are more examples. Diba? Nakakatawa siya. So, yan yung mga pinakalumang memes. Now, later on, nung nauso yung lolcats, nauso din yung tinatawag na mga meme generators, or nagkaroon na rin ng mga meme generating websites, nagkaroon na rin ng mga meme generating apps. So, using these tools, mas madali nang makagawa ngayon ng mga memes. So, maglalagay ka lang ng image na gusto mo, tapos lalagyan mo lang ng text na naiisip mo na witty or funny, then it's automatically a meme. So, kung ano yung mas nakakatawa, yun yung mas nagva-viral, kung ano yung mas witty, di ba? So, yung mga naunang designs were gumagamit ng font na impact, tapos meron siyang black border sa taas at saka sa ilalim. Pero later on, nagkaroon na rin ng iba pang designs. And ang another style na nauso din later on is yung tinatawag ngayon na dog. This one is based from a photo of a Shiba Inu, na isang aso sa Japan. Na ang ginawa niya doon sa picture is nilagyan ng iba't ibang small phrases na nakascatter sa paligid ng mukha ng aso. At yung usual font na ginagamit is Comic Sans. So yung ganitong klase ng meme is being used to create the concept of a scattered monologue caption style na gumagamit ng minimalist typography. So, I think ginawa niya na rin, yung iba sa inyo gumawa na rin ng mga ganyang klase ng memes. Yung isa pang nauso is yung tinatawag naman na snack. So, mula aso, ahas naman yung nilagyan nila ng mga ganyang phrases. Why are we discussing memes? Because it's part of internet culture. So, it's a claim, basically, on internet culture. As long as people create culture on the internet, hindi mamamatay yung concept ng memes. And dahil hindi siya namamatay, I think it's just about right for me to include this in this lesson as well. Na who knows, you can even include it in your infographics or your video or your podcast or your blog, just to add some comic relief or icebreaker or to capture the attention of your audience. So I guess that's it for this module. I hope you had fun watching and listening and learning. If you want to learn more or you have some questions, just let me know. Or if you have some other ideas or other articles na nakita nyo that are related to this topic, just comment on the Google Classroom post. And that would be interesting para hindi lang ako yung nagtuturo, pati kayo tinuturuan nyo rin ako at yung mga kaklase ninyo. So I hope to see you again in the next module.